All right, shalom, shalom. Kohala Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Rakakwadash. All right, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutation to you brothers that's pushing the word in sincerity and truth. All right, so the topic of this video is Israel has become a byword. All right, pursuant to the curses in the book of Deuteronomy. All right, these curses were put upon us, all right, because we transgressed the law, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father, and we did not we did not hearken unto the voice of the Lord. So the Lord have fulfilled His word upon the nation of Israel, and today we're going to look at Israel becoming a byword. All right, in particular, we're going to focus on the southern kingdom, mainly Judah. All right, or Yahweh, which means the Most High's praise. And as you can see, look at the Most High's praise. These are young Judites, all right, and these Edomites have made mockery of the Most High's praise, which is the tribe of Yahweh. All right, this is a book called 10 Little Nigger Boys. Now, if you watch that Tales from the Hood 2 on Netflix, which that's a good movie, it's funny. I believe that the first one was better, but you have Tales from the Hood 2 that's on Netflix. They went into this book when you had a woman and two Edomites broke into a history of the oppression of our people. It was a museum that they had broken into, and they was reading this book. But this is an example of how we become a byword, 10 little nigger boys. All right, now when you go into the word, we're going to go into the word shlach. You're going to go into the word byword. It says byword, English byword, proverb, word or phrase, used proverbial, Greek parabole, meaning something that has become proverbial. All right, now let's go to the book of Psalm 44. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna read up. But the point is in 14. I'm gonna start from the top real quick. Psalm 44:1, to the chief musician for the sons of Korah, Mashil, we have heard with our ears, O Yahweh, our fathers have told us what work thou didst in their days, in the times of old. How thou didst drive out the heathen with thy hand and plantest them, how thou didst afflict the people and cast them out. So this is the power of our Lord. We've heard of the stories of old, how the Lord cast the heathen down, how he cast the heathen nations down, all right, these other nations, all right, and it's going to happen again. And basically this is our hope, because the Lord have done this before. He's taken these nations out. But right now we're in a position where we are looked at as a proverb, 10 little nigger boys. We're a low people. We're a no people, all right, because to be a slave, you're dead, you're not living, okay? And we're going to go into that. It says, thou art my king, O Yahweh, command deliverance for Jacob. And that's what we're looking for, the deliverance of Jacob, which is the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. Jacob means Yaquab. He supplants, all right? It says, through thee we will push down our enemies. So through our King Yahweh, the Most High, and his son Yahushua, through him we are going to push down our enemies. Through thy name will we tread them under that rise up against us. We're going to do it through the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. All right, through his name we're going to tread under our enemies. We're going to tread them down that rise up against us, because Esau, the so-called white man, is going to rise up against us. But through the name of the Lord, all right, men, all right, are going to tread Esau down and these other nations. Verse 6, it says, "For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me." All right, so carnal weapons are not going to save us. "But thou hast saved us from our enemies and has put them to shame that hated us." So the Lord is going to put them to shame that hated us. And only somebody that hates you can write a book and make mockery of you. All right. And the Lord Yahweh Bashim El Shah is going to put them to shame. I'm just using this image right here, 10 little nigger boys, all right, because the Edomite, the so-called white man, all right, mainly in particular, a so-called white woman wrote this book, I believe. I believe it was an Edomite woman that wrote this book and published it, called 10 Little Nigger Boys, making mockery of our people, all right? But this proves that we're a byword, going back to the word byword, a proverbial saying, something that has become proverbial, all right? Uh, there's a lot of sayings. One saying in particular that comes to mind that, our people use as a proverb, you would say, black stay back, brown stick around. All right. Pertaining to the Southern Kingdom, stay down, and you keep the Northern Kingdom around, basically. Meaning that's the objective that Esau does. All right, black stay back, brown stick around. All right. It says, "For I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. But thou hast saved us from our enemies and hast put them to shame that hated us. In Yahweh we boast all the day long and praise thy name forever." Salah. See, in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, we boast all day long. So when we say Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to take this so-called white man down, take him out of power, that's what we boast in. And we boast in the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua because we believe that he's going to do these things. It says, "But thou hast cast off and put us to shame, and goest not forth with our armies." And that's what when you read the history, when a lot of times when Israel went to war, all right, and we were being wicked, the Lord wasn't dealing with us. He cast us off and he put us to shame before our enemies. Account in the book of Samuel's where we went to war, and guess what? The Ark of I believe it was the Ark of the Covenant, was taken. All right. Verse 10, it says, that's in the book of Samuel's. Verse 10, it says, "Thou makest us to turn back from the enemy, and they which hate us spoil for themselves." All right. And the reason why this song is being sung is why? Is because we transgress the law, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father. That's why we're going to go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter after this. So it says, "Thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat." Basically, for not being upright with the Heavenly Father, for not doing what He commanded. All right, we were given like sheep appointed for meat, and has scattered us among the heathen, which that's a curse in Deuteronomy 28th chapter, being scattered among the heathen. Verse 12, it says, "Thou sellest thy people for naught." We went into slavery, and does not increase thy wealth by their price. All right, so we've been sold, and we're not of value. Okay, we're not of value. Our price hasn't increased. It says, thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and a derision to them that are round about us. Now let's look up the word. Let's see. A scorn. La'ik, believe la'ik. Yeah, la'ik. All right. So we're made a scorn and derision, a mocking, derision, stammering, a mocking, derision. All right. Mockery. So we're made a scorn. Is this book not a thing of mockery? Okay. We're made a mockery. All right. We are people that these other nations mock us. All right. Thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and a derision. A derision. So we're also made, not only made a mockery, but we're made a scorn and derision. All right. Derision, ridiculous. All right, we're looked at as the things that we do. Oh, look, it says a laughing stock. All right, meaning we become entertainment to these Edomites, these so-called white people. All right, to these nations, they look at us for entertainment. All right, we're made a laughing stock. Okay, to them that are around about us. All right, the men mock us. These other nations, they mock us because we don't have our women in order. All right, Psalms 44 and 14, it says, "Thou makest us a byword among the heathen, and a shaking of the head among the people." All right, meaning everything that we do, these other nations shake their head. All right, they're always quick to point out our faults, but the things that we do positive, they don't bring these things to light. All right, but it all goes back to the scriptures. All right, matter of fact, let me before I go there, let me go to the book of Psalm 83 real quick, because that scripture just popped into mind. The book of Psalm 83. This is Psalm 83 and 1. No, I'm gonna start at 2. It says, I'm gonna go to the point. It says, "For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people." So these other nations, and it's a list of the nations. When you read verse 6 on down, and I'm not going to read that, but it's a list of nations. So these nations, their top elites, believe it or not, they have taken crafty counsel against the children of Israel. It says, "For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance." And that's why they coined the term black people. That's why they call us African Americans, because they have taken crafty counsel. All right, they have put it into the minds of the masses that we are black people. We are African Americans. We are we are anything but the nation of Israel, basically. All right. Now, let's see. Let's go, because we're going to go into the book of Lamentations a little later, but we're going to go to, matter of fact, look up the word real quick. Now this is yeah, should have brought it out. This is Lamentations 2. Lamentations 2 is a good chapter. When you read Lamentations, Lamentations 2 and 15, it says, "All that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem." The daughter of Jerusalem are the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, saying, "Is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty? And we were once a beautiful people." All right, we were once blessed by the Lord. All right, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, he basically we were the glory of his footstool. All right, because the scriptures say that the earth is the Lord's footstool. All right, it says the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth. Why? Because the Lord gave us his wisdom, which is his law, statutes, and commandments. Verse 16, it says, "All thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, We have swallowed her up. Certainly, this is the day that we look for. We have found, we have seen it." Because they always wanted the Israelites to be in subjection. All right, so they could rule the earth. All right, and they finally got what they wanted. All right, us being a low people, them being able to mock and reproach. Because if we were in power, they would not have any books called 10 Little Nigger Boys. All right, if we were in the perfection of our beauty, there would be no books, no mockery. We wouldn't be called a byword, because a byword is part of the curses. Okay, it said, "Certainly this is the day that we looked for. We have found, we have seen it." So they've seen us in our low position, us being far from the Heavenly Father, and they rejoice at that. All right, the Lord have done that which he had devised. He hath fulfilled his word that he had commanded in the days of old. He hath thrown down, and he have not pitied, and he hath caused thine enemy to rejoice over thee. He has set up the horn of thine adversaries, meaning he set up the horn of thy adversaries. He gave our adversaries power. Okay? And this is the day that they look for. Now let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, real quick. Let's see. Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, and we're going to go to the 37th verse. All right, and this is part of the curses. And that's what the Lord did. He did what he devised. He said, look, if we don't, matter of fact, let me read 15 real quick. Deuteronomy 28 and 15, it says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. All right, and what was one of the curses in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28 and 37? It says, and thou shalt become a astonishment, a proverb, and a byword. All right, so a proverb is a saying, okay? And a byword among all nations whither the Lord shall lead thee. And one of the curses is that we shall be scattered. But among all the nations that the Lord led us into, we became a proverb, a byword, an astonishment. Okay? Because remember they said, this the perfection of beauty? All right, so the word for byword, let me go down here real quick. It's a word for byword. Is a Shanayan, Shalakia. This is a Shah, this is a Na, Ya, this is a Na, and this is a Ha. Shad, Na, Ya, Shanayan, Na. Pardon me if I didn't get that correctly. It says a sharp word, sharp, cutting word, taunt, jib, what is it? Gibe. Let's see, gibe, byword, taunt. Basically, something used to taunt. Now this word, the word nigger, all right, which it goes back to the word Niger, which means black, but the word nigger was a word used to taunt us, okay, by the so-called white man. Basically these Edomites, they would call us niggers, all right, and we didn't have any power to do anything during that time. We were in subjection, we were in servitude, which we still in servitude today. But if a so-called white man calls some of these young jakes niggers, they get in an uproar, so on and so forth. But back then we didn't have any power. It was to show that we didn't have any power. They could call us niggers, they could call us niggers, they call us whatever they wanted to call us. All right. Let me go back. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 37. It says, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations whither the Lord shall lead thee. So that's part of the Lord basically doing what he devised. The Lord have done that which he had devised. He have fulfilled his word that he had commanded in the days of old. Now, weren't these words given in the days of old, right, when we came out of the land of Egypt, or the land of Hum, right, which means hot. All right. Let's see something real quick. Give me a second. Yeah, it means hot. All right, so let's go to the next chapter real quick. Let's go to Job 30. Now, you got to remember where these Edomites came from. These Edomites, they come from the cave, and they came from they had a beginning, okay? Their beginning was in the caves. All right, but now, since we we went off, all right, going back to the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, we went off as a people. Now they are in a position where they look down upon us, not remembering where they came from. They're busy trying to cover up where they came from, which they came from the caves, all right? When you read about Mount Seir, all right, Petra, that's where they come from. But they came from that, but now we have become their byword, all right, which they're the true by, they're the real cave people, all right? That's their history. All right, now this is Job 30 and 9, and this is a good chapter to read, Job 30, because I mean it's spiritually going into the situation that we're in. You can read that at a time appointed, but this is I like this Job 30. Job 39, it says, "And now am I their song, yea, I am their byword. They abhor me, they flee far from me, and spare not to spit in my face." All right, so they're always, basically, we become their byword, all right? And they look down upon us, and they have the power to literally spit in our face. All right, now this is what Job was speaking about in the spirit. All right, because now we become their byword. See, they're children of fools, they're children of base men. But now, since, we didn't follow the law, statutes, and commandments, it's written in the book of Kings where they rebelled against the king of Israel. All right. We once had them in subjection. All right. But it says, "And now am I their song. Yea, I am their byword. They abhor me." Not only are we their song, we're their byword, we have to go to them in the want of all things. All right. So let's go. I had Lamentations 5 and 1. This is just to show that, we're slaves. All right, under them. Now this is Lamentation 5 and 1. "Remember, O Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, what has come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach." Now what has come upon us is, since we didn't listen to the Lord put his curse upon us. All right, the Lord made us slaves under a people that hate us. All right, so when you pray, you always reminding the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua to remember. Now the word in Hebrew for remember is zakar. All right. Remember, O Lord, what is come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach. How are we being reproached? We're in the land of our captivity. All right, we're catching hell. All right, our people. I just heard Al Sharpton talking about the string of shootings that these police have shot innocent Jake, that had nothing to do with something that was going on. All right, but that's part of our reproach. All right, our men dying in the streets. Lamentations 5 and 2, it says, "Our inheritance is turned to strangers," right? Because those Amalekites over there in the land of Israel, they inherit our land. So our inheritance is turned to strangers. Shit's fly. It says, "Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows. We have drunken our water for money, and our wood is sold unto us." That means we're basically put in a position of subjection. We have drunken our water for money. And do we not buy water? Do you not have to go buy alkaline water instead of, getting water out of a river? We have drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us. And everything that we need is sold unto us in this captivity called America, Babylon the Great, or throughout the world where we are scattered. Lamentation 5 and 5, it says, "Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest." All right, do you not work a 40-hour work week? All right. If you're an Israelite, you're a man of the Lord. You have no rest. You're always laboring. If you're not on the job for Esau, you're doing the work of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. All right. It said, "We have given the hand to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians to be satisfied with bread." So we got to work to eat. We've given our hand over to the Egyptians. Now, when we work, who gets a piece of our wages first? So-called white men. All right, through the form of his system, taxation, federal government, state government. they have their they get their money first, man. All right. Now let's go to I'm gonna name this video "Byword and Slavery" because we're gonna go into some scriptures. I'm gonna go into a few more scriptures. Let me sometimes sometimes Lord's will, man, I get be able to memorize the scriptures a little bit better. What is it? Haggai? No, that's not Haggai. It's consider your ways. I couldn't think of it right now. Yeah, Haggai. And this is what our people need to consider. The ignorant of our people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. This is Haggai 1:5. It says, "Now therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes." And that's what happens since you're a slave in America, okay? You got people like Dr. Boyce, you got people like Dr. Umar Johnson, and they always have the questions of why we can't come together as a people, or we have all this purchasing power, but we have no money. We have no. It all goes back to the curses in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. All right, because you jakes, you refuse to hearken unto the words of the Lord. That's why you have all these questions that don't go answered, and even though it be in front of your face, you won't hearken unto it. Now, therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Ye have sown much and bring in little, meaning you've sown much. You fought in all of these wars that Esau's fought, from the Civil War, even far beyond that, Revolutionary War. You fought in that war. You fought in the Civil War, World War One, World War Two, Vietnam, Korea. All right, the Afghanistan, Iraq debacles. All right, you so much. You pay with blood, man. All right, but you bring in little. You don't have too much to show for it, man. Couple token Negroes that are part of the Boule secret society. All right, that got butt fucked as initiation. All right, but you still bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. All right, now that you're starting to eat, you eating GMO and poison, genetically modified foods. All this poison that these different corporations like General Mills and you got General Mills, you got a lot of these corporations. All right, they're selling you foods, and these foods are chemically put together and genetically modified. All right, ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. So you earn wages, but you put it in a bag with holes. All right. First of all, your money, you're using the Federal Reserve System, which that money is being devalued as we speak. All right, and it's not backed by gold and silver. So that means it's going to come a time where that the purchasing power of the dollar is going to diminish, and that's your bag with holes. All you jakes that think you have money, you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that think you have money. Well, when the Federal Reserve System collapses and these other countries lose faith in the dollar, all right, well, that's your bag with holes, man, because you're gonna have a lot of worthless money. All right. Let me go to the book of go to man, Bear with me. Get the scripture in Baruch. This is Baruch 3 and 7. This is Baruch 3 and 7. It says, and for this cause thou hast put thy fear in our hearts, to the intent that we should call upon thy name and praise thee in our captivity. All right. That's why the Lord set up men to come out, speak this word, to teach this word. All right. For this cause thou hast put thy fear in our hearts. All right. Why? Because now we woke up to the fact that we're Israelites. We know that we're in the land of our captivity, and we know that our enemy tries to kill us. And then we know on top of that is of the program of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. All right. Because the hour of martial law that's about to come, when this society is shut down, when martial law is on these streets, when there's riots, when there's mass deaths on the street. And for this cause, thou hast put thy fear in our hearts, because we know that if we don't have Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, we're not going to be able to make it. We're not going to make it. So for this cause, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua have put fear in our hearts, to the intent that we should call upon thy name and praise thee in our captivity. And that's what the men of the Lord are doing. All right. We should call upon thy name and praise thee in our captivity. For we have called to mind all the iniquity of our forefathers that have sinned before thee. So, the Spirit have woken us up to call to mind, all right, the iniquity of our forefathers. That's why we bring out the curses. That's why we know that these things are going to happen. Verse 8, it says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, in particular in America. You got all the tribes over here in America. This is the land of our captivity. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse. So not only we're called bywords, but we're here for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments. All right, and we're subject to payments. Not only that, we're subject to payments. So you always want to be paying somebody. You always want to be paying Esau, and Esau's finding way more ways to make you pay him. Proposing taxes on Texas and text messages in California. That's an example of us being subject to payments, subject to their taxation, because that's what they're about. They're about making money off of the poor, the Israelites, making life miserable. All right. So now we're subject to payments according to all our iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power. So being subject to payments, that's a curse, man. All right. You being subject to paying a light bill, paying gas and electric, paying, for your housing. Because in the ancient day, you had some land. You might have purchased land. All right. And guess what? What happened? You built a house on that land. You didn't have to pay a mortgage. All right. But Esau has subject you to payments. All right. It says, hear, Israel, the commandments of life. Give ear to understand wisdom. How happeneth it, Israel, that thou art in thy enemy's land, that thou art waxing old in a strange country, that thou art defiled with the dead. All right. So we're defiled with the dead, because these other nations, really, they're dead, man. All right. Esau, really, he's dead, man. Okay. The so-called white man, he's dead, man. There's no life in him. But we, as Israelites who have life through Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, all right, we're supposed to be living. All right. We're supposed to be in rulership. The earth was made for our sake. You can read that in Second Ezra. All right. If the earth be made for our sake, so and we're waxing old in this strong land. In this strange land, which represents America, Babylon the Great. All right. Is there another scripture that I wanted to go to? As a matter of fact, I wanted to end it with this in Deuteronomy 30. because these curses are going to become, they're going to turn around and be upon our enemies and the nations that persecuted us. As a matter of fact, it's two scriptures that I want to bring out. Let me go to the book of Obadiah. This is the book of Obadiah. Obadiah 1:15, it says, "For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head." Right? Because you called us all of these bywords. You made mockery of us. All right? You killed us. You did all types of things. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. That's payback. It says, thy reward shall return upon thine own head. So you're going to be rewarded for this. Everything that you did to the nation of Israel, all these other nations, they're going to be rewarded for it. It says, for as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. All right, meaning when you go into slavery, it's going to be like you had not been, okay? Starting with the so-called white man, the Edomite, Mr. Edomite, his elites, because his elites are going to be the first crop of slaves, okay? They're going to be the first crop of slaves, all right? You can find that in the book of Isaiah. It says, for as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. And that goes into drinking that cup. What is the cup? Slavery. Psalm 75:8, or Psalm 75. Now this is the book of Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter, and verse 7. It says, and the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. All right. Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is going to put all these curses upon our enemies. And instead of 10 little nigger boys, it's going to be 10 little Edomite boys. All right. And these Edomite boys, they're not going to have smiles on their face. Look how they always want to make Jake happy. I mean, they will always want you to smile and laugh. That's one thing about the so-called white men, the Edomites. They'll whip your ass, but they want you to smile and laugh. All right. Here it is. You can't pay your bills off the little bit of money you're making at a job, but they want you to smile and be happy at these jobs, man. All right. Jake is stressed out and depressed. All right. Working at these jobs, but they want you to laugh and everything's good. Why are you angry? You know, be passive aggressive. All right. Not wear a beard on your face. They want you to be a homosexual because there's no threat to them. It says, and the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So who persecuted the Israelites? All right, the so-called white men in these other nations. So the Lord is going to put all of these curses, and we went into a curse in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, which that curse is being called a proverb, astonishment, a proverb in the Byword. And you so-called white people, you Edomites, you're going to be astonishment, because you're going to go from being in a state of being in power, having your influence over all the other nations, to being the cursed of all the nations, being the bottom of all the slaves, because all the other nations are going to go into slavery, and the so-called white man is going to be at the bottom of that totem pole. All right, it's going to be a complete flip. All right, and that's what we're waiting for. All right, we're waiting for the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua to make good upon his word. All right, so with that, I hope I've edified, enough and brought out some scriptures and was edifying. Shalaki, if I might have misspoken some of the Hebrew, but so it's a progress. You get better, you get more into it. And Lord's will, being with the elder apostle Monagon, you can get a lot of edification on the Hebrew, man. That brother's a good scribe with the Hebrew. So with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Wakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to you brothers that's pushing the word in sincerity and truth. Until the next episode, Shalom.